Good morning! It is Wednesday, October 30th, and we are live with episode number 9 of the Mindless Meanderings. I am Jesse Fries, coming to you from Central Kansas, where my kids are really excited about Halloween. The daughter's going to be a vampire, and my son's going to be Jason Voorhees. So, even though they don't watch horror. But yeah, there you go.
So you're in Central Kansas now?
Oh, Central Texas. What am I saying? But... Yeah,
I'm Jamin Fries coming at you from Eastern Kansas, actual Kansas this time, where, well, the storm chasers are in the area again, and they're expecting to see some pretty nice tornadoes today.
Really? Tornadoes?
Yeah.
Sweet.
We got a big front coming through that's going to come through tonight, but what the tornadoes that they're expecting are the storms that are going to happen between like 2 o'clock until about 5 or 6, where we're supposed to have just spotty, large supercell storms that could produce some pretty good tornadoes. So I'll be ready to get out of the trailer as soon as I need to if the sirens go off.
I bet that's kind of late for tornadoes in Kansas. That's kind of crazy.
Well, we usually there's actually 2 tornado seasons around here,
right?
Because we're like right on where the jet stream usually sits in the spring and in the fall,
right?
So as especially, it's been weird this week. I mean, we've been the last couple days we've had good 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts coming up out of the south. So I mean, we've been up in 80 degrees lately here.
No,
which
down
is
here we're
highly unusual for Kansas at this time of year.
We're breaking records down here too. It's been 90s and everything like that. It's been kind of crazy. Actually, at a party, Aiden went to a party, kids party, and the mom. We were talking to this one mom, and she's moving up to Lenexa.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like going, I've never been to Kansas. I go, well, yeah, good luck with that. And I was teaching her the lingo, KCMO, KCK, things like that. And then she goes, so the basement, that's where you go to, because this lady had only lived in San Diego and in Texas here, where there's no basements. So she was like, the basement. In tornadoes, that's where you go? I go, yes. You go to the basements.
You go to the basement. You go to the basement, preferably under the stairs.
Exactly.
If you can get under the stairs.
Exactly. Well, let's see. We might as well talk about...
I live in a mobile home, though, so I got nowhere to go to. I got to get in my truck and drive.
You're just screwed, dude. You're just screwed.
Yep.
Let's see here. Let's get into it. Let's just start with the election, since that's coming up and everything like that.
Yeah.
Apparently you voted already.
That one.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. I did indeed.
Yeah, I don't vote, so there you go. I love politics, though, and I do sway a certain way, but yeah.
Yeah, I usually never vote either, but, this year I just had to.
That makes sense. Let's see here. For me, the main thing recently was, it was like, we had the Trump rally and everything like that at Madison Square Gardens. And that stupid comic made a joke, the garbage joke about Puerto Rico.
The thing I heard about that, and I haven't actually heard what he said,
right?
So I don't know how bad it actually was. But this is not a typical comedian.
No,
Do you know what this comedian does for a living?
He
podcaster.
Does roasts. Yeah, he does roasts, and he's a podcaster. Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, his entire joke repertoire is about tearing people apart.
No, yeah, exactly. But either way. Yeah, either way.
It was just a bad decision to have him there.
Exactly. And so I was like, going, okay. But then I saw reports and everything like that on CNN and everything like that where Puerto Ricans really didn't seem to mind. They were like, oh, okay, whatever. And then it was, and then what was it? Biden, yesterday. Was it yesterday or Monday? He came out and called every Trump voter garbage.
Yes. I heard about that.
So I'm like, going, well,
was it Biden? I thought it was Obama that did that.
No, it was Biden.
Okay.
Yeah,
Obama did
yeah.
basically the same thing,
Well,
if I
yeah,
remember reading correctly.
yeah. Obama's been trashing left
Yeah.
and right and everything. It's their only hope right now is to try to trash the Republicans and anybody that
Oh
votes
yeah.
for Trump. It's like the whole thing
Yeah.
of everybody's Hitler,
Well,
Trump's Hitler.
it's
This,
almost like they can't target Trump anymore, so they have to go after the people that support him.
yeah, exactly. Basically saying you're stupid if you vote for Trump. You're a jackass if
Yeah.
you vote for Trump.
Yeah.
You're a
You're
racist if you vote for
racist, you're
Trump.
a Nazi, you're a white supremacist, you're tack anything negative on there, anything derogatory, and they'll say it.
Exactly, exactly. But Republicans and the right have been accused of this for so many decades
Oh yeah.
now that we're kind
Yeah.
of immune to it. You can call us a
Yep.
racist. We know we're not, so we can move on with our life. That's basically how
Yeah.
Republicans and
Yeah.
conservatives think. So
Yep.
you can't just keep attacking us with the same thing and think it's going to stick.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never really understood that.
Yeah, me neither. Me neither. Me neither. But it looks like Trump, the polls are showing pretty good for him. There's the real clear politics. That one is showing he's up by, I think it's zero point 0.9 or something like that. Let me just double check that.
Okay.
No, for national average, he's up zero point 0.4. Battlegrounds, he's up 1.0.
Nice.
So let's see here. And then there is the other one. There's that other one that does a poll aggregate. It's called 538.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one is shows Harris up 48 to 46. And so I wanted to know what the difference was between those two.
Yeah.
And so it seems like if you compare the two, Real Clear Politics was off on the last election, but it was closer to what it was.
Okay.
538 was off from there. But apparently what they do, the difference between the two is Real Clear Politics. They just take the poll numbers and then they put that in, okay, into their
Okay.
numbers. 538, it's part of ABC News, is 538.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
what they do is they take all the polls and then they run their own algorithm on the polls that already have an algorithm on them. Yeah. So
Interesting.
So in
But
my
at
mind,
the same time that's going on X, I'm seeing polls saying that Trump has got like 63% and Harris has like 36%.
yeah. I think I know. I saw the same, and I think I know where that's coming from.
Okay.
It's coming from the betting averages. That's the betting average.
Okay. Okay.
The bets are about 60% Trump, 30%
Yeah.
Kamala.
Yeah.
So
Okay. That makes a lot more sense. Because I mean, they were putting it up there as if those were polling numbers, and like that was the early voting poll numbers and stuff.
Right.
And I saw a lot of comments on there about how it was Democrats that were putting those up there to make it so that Trump voters were comfortable that he was going to win, so they wouldn't even bother go to vote.
Well, there is always that. But
Yeah.
I think somebody just looked at the wrong thing and put the wrong word on there. Personally, that's
most likely.
Because this country is pretty much 50-50. It's just what we are.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we're about 45-45 with about 10 in the middle. Maybe 10.
Yeah. If we weren't like that, there wouldn't only be 5 states that made the decision and a difference of like 200,000 to 300,000 votes to make the difference.
Exactly.
I mean, there's no way we're at those kind of numbers that the betting pools have it at.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That's not the way this country is.
It really isn't. Do you have anything else? Politics? I do. So.
I've got some things that's going on over in the EU, which is kind of troubling.
Let's get to that later.
If you want to get into your politics,
well, let's stick to U.S. election first, and then we can move to the international.
Yeah, that'll work.
Makes sense to me. Okay, so the next major thing that's really been going on in our politics is how these newspapers have decided, like the Washington Post, LA Times, whatnot, they've decided not to endorse a candidate for president.
Yeah. Yep.
That's been like huge news and everything like that. And then
Yeah, I've seen so many comments. How could you not endorse Kamala? That's just you can't do that. You
I know
have to
exactly.
endorse her.
Yep. Which is really hilarious because we all know that they actually do endorse her. It's just that they
Yeah.
just don't want to say that they're endorsing her, you know? Which
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
hilarious. But then maybe Bezos is just like saying, screw you. You know, Kamala.
Well, yeah,
We
because
don't.
if I remember correctly, he owns basically all of those newspapers, doesn't he?
No,
Or
he
at
just
least a
owns.
partial owner in a good portion of
No,
them.
he owns the Post, the Washington Post.
Okay.
The other one, the LA Times, is owned by another billionaire. I can't remember his name.
Okay.
Soon something. I don't know exactly.
Okay.
And then there's another one that came out, Gannett Publishing. Their main
Hmm.
paper is the USA Today.
Okay.
They've also come out and said that they're not endorsing a presidential candidate. So and then there's other newspapers and whatnot.
I mean,
That
as far as I'm concerned on that, the media and the I mean, you can't really stop the entertainers from doing it, but the media at least should not be endorsing people for president.
I could see that. I could see that. But
The media is there to report. It's not there to influence.
well, actually, that is
It's not
exactly
supposed to be there to influence.
right. Exactly. So Bezos, he came out with this whole thing of not endorsing, and he had to. There's so much backlash. He actually wrote an op-ed piece.
Uh-huh.
And along those lines, to quote from part of it, it says, voting machine, he has an analogy and then he's going to go into the thing. But the main part I saw
Yeah.
here was that he said that voting machines must meet two requirements. They must count the vote accurately, and people must believe they count the vote accurately. The second
Yep.
requirement is distinct from and just as important as the first. And
Oh,
then
absolutely.
and then he goes on to say that likewise with newspapers, we must be accurate and we must be believed to be accurate. He said it's a bitter pill to swallow, but we are failing on the second requirement. Most people believe the media is biased. And that was the quote. And I agree with him, but also the media, of course, is going to be biased.
Yeah.
Always has
Well,
been.
the media is filled with people, and those people are biased.
Exactly. And not only that, but it's like newspapers have always, there's been like the St. Joe Democrat or the whatever Republican.
Yeah.
These have been titles of
Yep.
newspapers. You kind of know which
Oh
way
yeah.
they're going, you know?
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
not anything
And
shocking.
And you also know that that based on what the owner or the higher ups think and believe, they're going to hire reporters that think and believe the same way that they do.
Exactly.
I mean, that's just the way it's going to be. So anytime you're dealing with actual people in being involved, there's no way not to be one, not to have a side that you're rooting for.
Yep. And you
And
could really
it's
see this when I came across this one article. The title of the article was Donald Trump makes false claims about ballots in Lancaster County in Truth Social Post. So this was talking about how he said that there were ballot irregularly or fake ballots and everything like that in Pennsylvania. Did you hear about that story where it's like the registration, voter registration forms have been faked and everything like that?
Yeah, there were a whole bunch that were signed by the same person and stuff.
Yeah, 2,500 of them, know? And so Trump, he just said ballots and forms is what he said was the quote. And then this lady just goes off saying that he lied, even though he said ballots and forms. Okay, but he was probably speaking just off the cuff. He wasn't like,
Yeah.
It's like this is why we don't trust you, because you're going to take maybe just a off the cuff remark that's somewhat accurate, but might not be 100%
Yeah.
accurate, and then you just blow it
Yeah.
up and just label it a lie and move on from there. To me, it's kind of
Hmm.
ridiculous, and it
Yep.
just goes into that whole thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. And then there's the some places in Pennsylvania where they were going out and basically shutting the polls down early.
Right, right. Yeah, I saw that.
They're putting stuff out and telling people that you can't get in line anymore at like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon because it's going so slow.
Yep, yep.
But legally, you can get in line up till like 5 o'clock, and they still have to let you vote.
Yeah, I at least on voting day. I'm not sure exactly how that works on in
Yeah,
early voting.
yeah.
Or early voting might be different laws on that one.
Yeah, they might have different laws on that, but I didn't read anything that said that they had different laws. Everything that I read said that you can be there until 5.
No, I understand that.
You
Which
don't have.
okay? Can you hear me now?
Still can't hear it.
Still can't hear. Let's see.
I'm saying something now. See if I can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, it's my headset.
No, it wasn't you.
I
It was not you.
Oh, okay.
Definitely
Let
was
me
not
plug my
you. It
headset
was
back in then.
okay. Yeah, no, it was. Hello, everybody. We're back again. My system completely crashed. So that well, not my system, but my processing system and everything like that for actually recording this just crashed on us. So, but I think we are back up and going here. Let me make sure of that. Okay. So, where were we? Jamin? You there?
I couldn't hear you on my headset. For some reason, my headset jack stopped working, so I've got you on my speakers now. Hopefully it's not coming through back feed on my mic.
Not so far, at least. So,
Okay. Okay.
we'll see how
Good.
this goes.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah, I don't know. That's
what were
weird.
we talking about before that?
The I think we had just stopped talking about ending the lines early.
Oh yeah. So yeah, with that, I don't know if it could be, it might be legal during the early voting period of time, which I could
Yeah.
actually see. It would make sense to
Yeah.
me
Well, I mean, you
because you could
wouldn't
just come
want
back the next day.
yeah. Not only that, but you don't want your people to have to work overtime every day of the week up to the election,
Exactly,
which they would end up
exactly.
having to do.
Yeah, so I could see that. I could see how that would be
Yeah.
the case. So,
Yep.
let's see here. Do I have anything else? Oh, the Supreme Court just decided that they're allowing Virginia to resume the purge of voter registrations.
Or are they?
Yep. It was just an
Nice.
emergency decision. It was unsigned or
Yep.
anything like that. But yeah, they're allowing the purge to go through. So,
Good. Good.
yep. I was
Yeah, I
like,
mean, you definitely want to make sure that people aren't here legally that aren't citizens can't vote. I mean,
well, they
you
could
know,
be here legally, that's fine. But if they're not a citizen or they're a
yeah,
felon, yeah, they can't vote. That's in my
yep,
book. So it's but
yep.
yeah, the Supreme Court just decided that. So that's
Okay,
breaking news, as
that
they
is,
say.
yeah, interesting.
Yep. Let's see here. Beyond that, I really don't. I think that's about it for my politics. So, what do you
Okay.
got on the EU and whatnot? You said you had some stuff.
So yeah, the EU has done something that is very troubling.
Mm-hmm.
So on July 25th, so it was a little while ago, they passed a law that requires every corporation that 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 is in the EU or that does business of an amount of over $489 million
Uh-huh.
in the EU has to comply with an ESG score that they have decided to put into place.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So essentially, DEI on steroids.
Right, 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 of course.
What they've done though, so this is companies like Apple, Ford, a
Right.
lot of US companies are involved in this.
Uh-huh.
If they don't meet the guidelines,
Uh-huh.
EU has put in that they will fine them 5% of their worldwide business,
Are you freaking kidding me?
which means
Wow.
for one breaking of their guidelines,
Right.
Apple would be fined $19 billion.
Do they want any products sold in Europe or not? I swear to God, these people.
Suppose I from what the people were saying that I heard about this from, the amount of business they do over there is worth it to a lot of them. It's worth
I
it to do
no.
the ESG stuff. But it gets even worse though.
Uh-huh.
It's not just the company that does business over there of that large amount
Right.
that has to comply to the ESG.
Right, right.
It's all of their suppliers.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Anyone that does business with them. So if you're a marketing firm and you do business with them,
Right.
if you don't comply with their ESG laws, Ford or Apple would get fined 5% of their worldwide business, which means that these companies will have to put into all their contracts that you have to follow, that you have to abide by these ESG rules as well.
Right, right. Is this only on the European side, or does this uh go against like the American side, the foreign sides of the company as well, or is it just like the imprint of the EU itself? So it's not like would it actually like hit like Apple headquarters for ESG
Yes.
or in in
Apple had
California?
anywhere in the world, you have to
Oh
comply with
Jesus,
ESG.
Jesus Christ!
So you have to comply with ESG anywhere in the world. If you're in China,
Right.
you have to comply with ESG. But it goes even further.
Uh huh.
If a company can't afford, if one of their say we're dealing with Ford,
Uh huh.
if one of the companies that they do business with, such as like a parts company in China, if they can't comply with ESG by say going 100% solar,
Mm-hmm.
Ford would have to by their regulations pay to get them 100% solar. So it's a
Wow.
massive transfer of wealth.
It's something.
I mean,
Is
it's
this just proposed
insane.
or is it in law yet? Do you know?
No, it's law. It
It's
is
law.
law in the EU now. Yes, it was passed on July 25th.
Well, that's just crazy. Uh, yeah, I'm sure there's
Yeah,
some workarounds, but the EU they love just to make up regulations for no reason. I swear to God, they just it's a technocratic system. That's all it is.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
they these people just need to justify their jobs. I really don't understand it. It's
yeah. But I mean, based on that, basically every company from from the rubber tree
right, right.
people all the way up to the finished product anywhere in the world has to comply with the EU's ESG score ratings.
Right, right,
If
right.
not, then they won't be able to do business with anybody.
That is just crazy.
What the some of the people that were talking about it, what they thought it was all about was they're trying to, you know, how a lot of regulations and stuff like that are designed to hold people down so that everybody has so that there's a fair playing field rather than lifting everybody up to a fair
Right,
playing
right,
field.
right.
So what they think is that since EU already has all of these laws in place,
Mm-hmm.
so their companies have been handicapped with this for a long time now,
Right.
not being able to compete with countries that didn't have these kinds of laws.
Oh,
So
so this is
now they're
basically like
just
their
trying to make it.
tariffs. Okay.
Yeah,
Got it.
yeah. I mean,
Got
it's
it.
essentially a trade war, is what they've initiated,
Right,
a
right.
tariff trade war.
Interesting. That is really interesting.
Yeah.
Wonder how that's going to play out. Wait. Oh,
Well, I mean, it,
you
it depends on it. It all depends on November 5th. I mean, honestly,
well, right,
if
right.
Trump makes it in, I don't think it's going anywhere.
Probably not. Probably not. But in that you were talking about Ford, just as a funny aside, apparently the chief executive of Ford, guess what he
Hmm.
drives?
What?
Just what kind of vehicle would he drive? You think?
Tesla.
No, no. He imported a Chinese EV, dude. That guy needs to be
I
fired.
guess that
I'm
makes
sorry.
sense.
It's just you work for Ford, you drive Ford. I'm sorry. That's
Yeah,
you're chief executive of Ford. You drive Ford.
yeah. I know that used to be the law. I mean, that used to be the rules in Ford. You know, all the way back to the Model T.
Right.
If you were an employee of Ford, you drove a Ford.
Well, you get a discount and everything, but I'm sure
Yeah,
just workers could drive whatever they needed to because that's usually how it is. But like when you get up there, you just
yeah, yeah. If you're in the
you,
upper echelons and you don't even drive one of your own vehicles, that's a problem.
exactly. Your first day you might be able to drive in with something else, but then the next day
Yeah,
you
yeah.
need to go get yourself a Ford, or Lincoln or anything else they make. It's
Yeah, aren't we currently not really dealing with China with their EVs? I thought there was a whole bunch of stuff to stop their EVs from coming in.
well, right, but a private person can bring anything in because he
That's
bought it
true.
in
They buy it
China.
over there and then
Yeah.
just ship it over. Yeah.
No, that's exactly what he did. He bought it in China
Yep.
and then he had it imported over
Oh
himself.
God.
So yeah, it's completely legal and everything like that. But it's like
Yeah. Yeah.
you're the chief executive of Ford, dude. Just drive a Ford. I'm sorry. That's what you do.
If you
Don't
don't like any of your own vehicles, go and have them make one that you do like.
right? Exactly. Exactly. It's like you can't even drive a GM. You can't drive a Fiat. You can't
No.
drive a
No.
Chrysler or a Dodge. It has to be a Ford or a Lincoln. This is
Yes.
that's what they
Yes.
make. So that's what you drive.
Yep.
Plain and simple. I'm sorry.
Yeah, at least GM, they've got Cadillac, they've got, GM's got a good bunch of cars that anybody wouldn't mind being seen in. So,
Oh yeah, of course, of course. It's yeah, Buick. The new Buicks are pretty sweet too.
yeah, yeah. Well,
And
I loved my old Buick.
yep, yep.
That
They've
my
changed the
Buick
logo now.
Century, I loved that car.
Yeah,
What's that?
they've changed the logo for Buick actually.
Have they?
Yeah,
Okay.
now you know how it was like those three shields put together.
Yeah.
Yeah, now it's still the three shields, but they're separated
Oh, okay.
in a straight
Okay.
line. It looks a bit weird, but every
Yeah.
new
Yeah.
logo design looks a
Oh,
bit weird,
yeah.
but
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. You'll get used to it though.
exactly. But their cars are pretty nice.
Yep.
Uh, yeah, but I went with a Cadillac for my last one just because all the other dealers around here sucked. I swear to God, only Cadillac treated me well. Every single last one of them were just like in and out. They're trying hard sell and everything like that. It's like I'm going, dude, I'm getting a GM vehicle. Be nice to
Yeah.
me. That's all I need. I just need to know how
Yep.
much.
Yep.
Don't run my credit. Just tell me
Yep.
how much.
Yeah. Well,
And only Cadillac was willing to do that.
Cadillac's always been. I mean, I've never been in a Cadillac dealership that I ever had any kind of problems with. You know, they've
No,
always been
exactly.
the best of people.
Yep, 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 yep. Maybe it's just because. Let's hold on.
Well, it's a high end car, so
No,
they've
yeah,
got to have
exactly.
high customer service. Yeah.
What's going on now? Hold on. Got another weird thing going on. Why is that?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I don't know. Let me see here 1 second. Yeah, for some reason the live stream quit.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's really odd. Let me get that back up and going here. That's really weird.
Yeah.
Okay, we're back and live again.
Okay.
So yeah, that's weird.
Sorry
I
about the
don't.
technical difficulties, everybody.
Yeah, yeah. What can you do?
Yep. Stuff happens.
Exactly. So, anything else foreign related there, Jamin?
Well, there is one other. The UN Summit for the Future. Have you heard about that?
No.
Okay. Well, they recently had a summit for the future,
Mm-hmm.
and the U.S. willingly signed off on everything,
Okay.
but there were 9 countries that refused to sign off on it. Russia was one of them.
Okay. So the bricks probably.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
And but what this does is there were like 3 main directives that they were trying to get passed within this.
Uh-huh.
One of them gives the Secretary General of the UN the ability to unilaterally declare a global emergency.
Oh, so it's like the Who thing, you know?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
That would give him powers to address the global emergency for a finite amount of time,
Right.
like 90 days or whatever.
Uh-huh.
But that finite amount of time can be reset
Oh, of course,
after
of
it
course.
expires. So
Right, right. Yep.
basically, he could declare the world emergency that went on for years if he wanted to.
But he couldn't at the same time because of the Security Council. I'm just they veto
Well,
over everything.
that's the thing, though, is that once he declares it, it doesn't go through the Security Council anymore.
Well,
It gives
then it doesn't
him
matter.
directly the powers.
Then it doesn't matter. Not at all.
I know. Yeah.
Because just for the simple fact that either America, Russia, or China will be saying "screw that." Plain and simple. We're all going to do that. One of us will be not willing to go along with it, and they'll just veto it. And guess what? They need our money. They need our military might to do anything. Plain and simple. So
yeah, what this does, it gives him the ability to set rules and regulations on something,
mm-hmm.
and it gives him the ability to set fines for anybody that doesn't follow the rules and regulations.
Nah, the UN's going down. I'm sorry. They're doing stupid stuff. Nobody really seems to care anymore. They can't keep world peace, which is what the purpose of the UN was, anyways.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we need to get.
The second directive is that it's a promise. Now, it's not, it's just a promise. It's not, there's nothing legally binding or anything like that. It's a promise to create universal access to abortion without any limitations being set in the agreement. So everyone who's a member of the UN has promised to do that.
Nope, that's not going to happen.
It's so much bullshit.
It's so the people that voted for this, I bet, were Europe, Possibly China on that bit, I could see. Uh, America because of the Bidens, and
Yep.
Canada,
Yep.
Australia, and then pretty much everybody else probably said screw you. Pretty much all of Africa said screw you. Latin America probably
From
said
what
screw
they
you.
from what they said, there were only the 9 countries that didn't sign.
No, but they're not going to do it.
No,
There's
they're
no
not going
way.
to.
It's pointless.
Especially since it's just a fucking promise.
Exactly. Yeah, no, that's not happening.
I'll, yeah, if I were a politician, I make promises every day that I know ain't going to be kept. So,
Exactly.
why not make another one?
And it's the UN. Who cares?
Yeah. The third directive is it's a global digital compact
Mm-hmm.
that sets the UN to be the regulatory body for all AI research worldwide,
Oh yeah, I heard they wanted to do that. Yeah.
for dealing with misinformation and disinformation in social media.
Oh, too bad we have the First Amendment. Yeah.
They're also promoting UN funded journalism. So they want all journalism to be funded by the UN.
Hey, that's funny.
And they want to develop a fact checking group in the UN.
Jesus Christ, fact checking my ass. I
So
fact
that's
checking
what
is
the
just
UN is
stupid,
up
anyways.
to. Instead of, trying to stop wars, instead of trying to
Right,
do what they're supposed to do,
right,
they're
right,
they're
right.
doing this kind of bullshit.
That's hilarious. But then
Yeah.
all at the same time, one of their investigators came out with this whole thing of saying get women or get men out of women's sports and basically stop the transgender crap and everything like that. It's so you have this whole dichotomy. Then that is just weird. That's just
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. The UN, they're hilarious. Like we care.
Yep. Yep.
Anything else on
Oh,
that
they're
side?
also there's also talk of giving two African countries permanent status in the Security Council, but they won't have veto powers. So
Well,
what's the point of having permanent positions?
what would they be? What are the two countries? Do you know?
The article that I read didn't say.
Huh. Okay. Just maybe it's just two African countries would always be on the Security Council. Maybe that's it. Like those
Well,
revolving.
it currently is right now. Right now, there's two spots that they hold that trade between like three countries
Right. Right.
in Africa.
Right.
And so what the U.S. has proposed is to give two of those countries permanent slots and not let the third one in at all, basically.
Got it. Got it. One of them has to be South Africa, probably. Maybe
Probably,
Nigeria.
maybe.
And then maybe Egypt. I would.
Yeah.
Uh,
Those would be the top ones, I would think.
yeah, that's what I would think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, but what's the point
The
without
Afri- the
veto?
African was the African representative was like, giving us permanent status is useless without veto power.
No, it is. It's
So
completely
if you
useless.
don't include veto power with that, we're not going to care.
Yeah,
It's not
exactly.
like you're doing something for us.
Yeah. Yeah, I see. That's just stupid. It's
Yep.
pointless. It's what was it back a few elections ago? Putting lipstick on a pig. That's pretty much all it is.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah. So that's what I've got from international news.
Okay. Okay. Let's see here. What else do I get? I don't think I have any other international news. So for right now, let's just go. Here at the Mindless Meanderings, we are a value for value model. This means that that you are producers of this show, and you can help with all aspects of the show. This has been described as time, talent, or treasure. You can help out by doing art or jingles for the show. You can also send us ideas and information for topics that we cover. You can email me at jesse@mindlesssea.com, and you can email my brother Jamin over here at jamin@mindlessmeanderings.com. But most importantly, we need your treasure. Money will ensure that we can continue bringing you our mindless meanderings. Also, what you can also do, guys, you can also just spread the word. Let people know that you love our podcast and get that spreading around. That'd be great. That would really help, actually. So, but on the treasure side, just donate however much you can think this podcast was worth to you. Could be 300, could be $1, could be any amount that you think this podcast was worth to you. Just send us what you feel this podcast was worth to you, and any amount helps, and it'll keep us spouting our mindless meanderings. When you donate, you can also send us a short email that we will read on air. You can donate through our website, mindlessmeanderings.com, or through your favorite podcast app. When you do donate treasure, aka your money, we will list you as a producer of the show. And since we are starting out, whoever donates at least $100 will be listed as an executive producer, and then everybody else will be listed as associate producers. So please help us out. Let's see. You still there, Jamin?
Oh, this is hilarious. So I just pulled up X, and I'm really hoping that this is a Photoshop. Because if not, it's pretty hilarious. So the picture here shows ESPN ABC, one of the races, car races, and down at the bottom, President statewide, Harris 52% with a check mark, Trump 47, 100% reporting. The person that posted it said ABC accidentally aired election results of Harris winning PA by 5% with 100% in.
Well, yeah.
If that's not a Photoshop, damn.
Well, a lot of times the news organizations will actually just have test things that they put in. And so they run all these different tests, and that's it could just be one of the tests. I'm sure they might even have some for Trump. I kind of doubt it.
Yeah, but I mean, there's ways to test stuff like that. You change the names on it. You do. I mean, you don't have to put Harris Trump in there. You'd put somebody else in there, because
but you're testing live.
Election.
I understand. I'm just saying that it's.
To
me, sometimes you have to test with the live thing and try not to actually put it up.
Oh yeah, so absolutely.
Yeah, personally, I would err on that side of it just being a mistake.
I really hope that it was photoshopped.
It might be, or it was just a mistake, because seriously, they just throw in numbers a lot of times for these things, and then they just test to make sure that everything is working correctly, which you do have to do. So.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely.
That is funny though.
Yeah.
Okay, you got any tech news or anything?
Well, I've got a couple of things involving space exploration, which are kind of cool. The littlest brother actually keyed me into one of these with I knew about Elon Musk going to Mars and all that other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know that NASA has in plans to put a permanent facility on the moon.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
I knew about the tests that they did to see if there was water on the moon, where they took the second stage of a rocket, dropped it down onto the moon, and then had the satellite crash into the moon, going through the plume that came up when the second stage rocket crashed,
right?
So that they could see if there was water and stuff like that in there, and there was. What they're talking about though is that the best use of that water is you can create oxygen with it, which means that you can survive for a long time out there,
right?
But also, you can reintroduce hydrogen into it and make rocket fuel.
Oh, okay. Right.
So what they're talking about doing is that this would make it so that after we launch stuff up into space, we would then be able to refuel it up there with the water
Mm-hmm.
from the moon, so that it can go out into much further distances and stuff. So
Well,
that's
yeah,
pretty
yeah,
cool.
yeah. It'd be cheaper to produce it on the moon than under
Oh,
U.S.
absolutely,
gravity
yeah,
and then having to send it up into space. Yeah, it'd be cheaper that way. Yep.
yeah,
Makes sense.
yep.
Makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. So that was kind of interesting when I was reading about that. But they were saying that they didn't that they were going to use the moon as a stepping stone,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe 10 years after we've put a permanent colonization of the moon, then we might think about going to Mars. And I'm like, I hope this doesn't mean they're going to try to stop Elon, because he's got plans to go to Mars in 4 years.
Well, yeah, yeah, that's NASA, but and that's probably NASA's plan is you needing to do that. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think Elon might just do it. I could see him do that. It's
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
he's
there's
crazy
nothing
enough.
stopping him.
Yep,
Well,
yep.
once he gets it out into space, he can go wherever the hell he wants.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
I mean,
Apparently, he's now
nobody controls Mars right now.
exactly. Apparently, he is getting into the spy game now. Some of his satellites are being used with laser communication and everything like that for the Pentagon and everything like that. So that's kind of cool.
Okay. Well,
Yep.
I knew that he was that Starlink was being used by Ukraine
Right.
for all their communications, and they've actually found on some Russian um, drones, they've found Starlink connections on those,
Oh
where
yeah.
Russia's using Starlink illegally, supposedly, to do their stuff.
Yeah, I wouldn't see
Um,
why they wouldn't. Just hack into the system. I don't see.
yeah, yeah.
Of course, you shouldn't do that, but I wouldn't see why Russia has some hackers. So I'm not sure why
Oh,
they wouldn't be doing
absolutely. I
that.
mean,
Yeah.
there's
So
there's absolutely no doubt that Russia couldn't get into their system. I mean, that'd be way too easy for them to do.
exactly.
But the other thing I have on space is, on Mars, they've made a new discovery.
Uh huh.
They found pure sulfur on Mars.
Huh. That's odd.
It's in crystal form,
Mm-hmm.
and it's encased in rocks.
Huh. Okay.
They made this accidental discovery when the rover rolled over it and shattered the rock.
Huh.
It turned around, looked back, and it saw all these crystals inside of it.
Right.
They have no idea where the sulfur came from, though, because there's not in that area. There's nothing that says that there was volcanic activity. There's nothing that says that it was that there were like hot springs or anything like that there.
Mm-hmm.
Yet, as they were moving the camera around, they were in a field of rocks, of these rocks that looked exactly the same. So potentially all of these rocks have pure sulfur inside of them.
Huh. Maybe like from something hitting Mars and then ejecting it out into the atmosphere and then it falling back down, or some
Could
weird
be.
process that we just don't know about. That's kind of
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
So I thought that
Or
was
maybe
pretty
they're
cool. Yeah,
turds. Maybe they're turds, and some animal on Mars, just poops out rocks with pure sulfur in them.
that could be. That kind of goes into to that rant that I wanted to do.
Uh-huh.
Unless you've got something else to talk about.
I have other things, but you can let's go with the rant, and then we can end on a
Okay.
non-rant
Okay.
sort of thing. Yeah.
So I'm really getting tired of YouTube.
Uh-huh.
The reason for that is 90% of the stuff that I find on there that looks interesting is fake.
Yep. Yep.
I saw one that, and I had to click on it because they said that they had found artificial light on Proxima B.
Uh-huh.
When what actually happened was they developed a satellite that if there were artificial light on the backside of Proxima B, it would potentially be able to see it. And yet
Uh,
they made this like hour-long video about how there was life on Proxima B because they found artificial light on the backside.
sounds about right. So your problem isn't YouTube itself, it's the
No,
junk that people
it's
put
all
on
that
YouTube.
fake. It's all that fake shit that people put out there.
Got
There
it,
was,
got it.
and I mean, there was one on Elon Musk saying that he had developed and was ready to send it out between Tesla, SpaceX, and Neuralink.
Uh-huh.
That they had developed an exoskeleton for people with disabilities.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, I started watching it, and it was such a good story. I couldn't not watch it. I knew it was just a story though, because they kept saying about how you could see in Elon's eyes that there was compassion and shit like that. I'm like, oh no, this is fake for sure.
Compassion in Elon's eyes.
But I mean, there are so many of these fake stories out there that, and the thing is that the way they say it seems reasonable.
Right, right.
But I mean, all you have to do is one little search. I mean, God knows if we found life on Proxima B, and if there was artificial light that they had discovered, it would have been everywhere.
No,
There is no
exactly.
media that wouldn't have covered it. And yet with this, with their stories, you can only ever find that one little thing, like
Mm-hmm.
the one of the shows earlier, the fighter jet that Elon Musk had supposedly designed and
Right,
built.
right.
I mean, it's just I I hate that I can't trust anything on there anymore. I have to like triple and quadruple check everything,
Well,
and
Jay,
it's
but
so annoying.
yeah, but this just shows that you're actually becoming a intelligent consumer of information. You're realizing maybe just what it is that the glass has been shattered. You used to kind of trust it, but now you've been doing so much with it that you've realized that it's all just shit.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's the problem. I think the problem is that I actually started watching YouTube.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that would do it. That would do it. Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
up until now, I've watched like how to cook something on YouTube
Right,
or something
right.
like that. That's not going to be fake.
Yeah, no. Basically, if it's science related, unless if it's like just them showing science experiments, it's all fake. That's how I take it. If it's actually
Gosh.
like telling you how to do something, I think YouTube is good for that. You know how to do
Yeah.
something in like
Oh yeah, yeah.
Photoshop or something
The
like
how
that.
to the how to stuff is awesome. I mean,
No,
you
exactly.
buy a new piece of equipment, and with YouTube, you can just instantly find out how to do everything with it.
Yep.
Same with software and stuff like that. I've used it for um, game software development and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's amazing for that. But don't look at it for just regular information because
Definitely
90% of
not.
it's going to be fake.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Let's see here. Speaking of Photoshop and whatnot, apparently Microsoft. So you know how like Adobe and everything like that, like they went to a subscription base
Yeah,
for like everything for Photoshop and
yeah,
everything like that. It's all subscription. Well, Microsoft did the same thing with its Office, right? Office
yep,
365. They're
yep.
actually getting out of that business. Well, not getting out of it. They're going
Are
to
they?
keep it, but they're also releasing a home Office Home 2024 that is standalone.
God, I can actually buy Office again.
Yes.
I've been using Office 2010 for so long.
Yeah, yeah, it'll be 150 for the Office suite.
That's a reasonable price for a
No,
one-time payment.
exactly. So, but yeah, I'm like, hell yeah.
I mean, fuck, 150, that's what, like, maybe 10 months of monthly payments?
The 365 is $100 for a year, a nine ninety
Oh,
nine
okay.
99 for a year. But 2 years,
Okay.
that's $200.
So
3 years,
yeah.
and
Yeah,
what you can
and
use
you
an
know you're
Office
going to be
product. Yeah, you could use the Office
yeah,
product for like what 5 years at least, if not more.
something like that. They keep they keep it they keep updating it for at least 5 to 6 years or so. I
Well,
know my
this will just be
2010
like
version.
this would just be security updates. They said they're not going to like
Yeah,
give
yeah,
new
that's
features or anything
what I
like
mean.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. My
Mm-hmm.
2010, they stopped doing the security updates on that about 3 or 4 years ago, maybe
Mm-hmm.
5 years ago. So, yeah, no, they keep doing the updates for quite a long time. So you can run off of that for quite a long time.
Oh yeah, yeah. But yeah, so
So
there you
thank
go.
God.
Right?
I really wish that all of them would do that.
I think they will because seriously, I having a subscription basis is fine. I think, but as long as you have a standalone as well, you know,
Yeah.
it's like Adobe and the Photoshop. I love Photoshop. It's a great product. It's like the best product out
Yep.
there. But
Yep.
I'm not going to pay a monthly fee or a yearly fee for this. I'm going to pay once a time because I had to go
Yeah.
to Affinity. With Mac, they have a program called Affinity, and it's
Okay.
Photoshop. It's not as
Yeah.
good as Photoshop or anything like that, but it's really good and it does enough of what I need. So, but if I
Yeah.
could just buy Photoshop or any of those designings by Adobe, that'd be great.
Oh yeah,
Like, yeah,
absolutely. Yep.
but I'm not going
Well,
to pay
it's like
monthly.
me with Quicken. I do all of my accounting and stuff like that in Quicken, and the only reason to have us to do the subscription with Quicken is it gives you access to instant updates from the bank. So you can
No.
click on a button and it'll update any transactions that have gone through your bank.
Okay, so there's actual use there. There's
Yes.
and that use probably costs them money anyways, so they have to recoup those costs. So that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
The, I ended up having to go to get a subscription for it though,
Mm-hmm.
because it was the strangest thing. I started getting messages that I couldn't add a new entry without the subscription. So they wouldn't let me put a new entry into the books without the subscription for some reason. I don't know if it was
Huh.
something that I was doing wrong or if it was a change that they made,
Right.
but yeah, I ended up having to subscribe to it. I mean, luckily it's not a whole bunch of money. I mean, it's like $45 a year or something like
Oh, that's
that.
not too bad.
So
That's not too bad. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
That's
but
cool. Makes sense. But yes, I hate subscription based things. It's like get off it, people. You know,
I
just
don't
get
mind subscription based things as long as it's only subscription based.
right.
The ones that drive me nuts is, and they do this with a lot of games and stuff like that, is where you pay a monthly subscription to play the game,
Uh
but then whenever they do an update or come out with a
huh.
new
Oh, you mean World of Warcraft? Yeah.
season, yeah, World of Warcraft, you still got to pay the 80, 90, $100 to buy the game as well.
Yep.
If you're going to make me buy the game, then don't make me pay a subscription.
No, I
That's one thing
understand
I
that.
like about that. Guild Wars does that. You don't pay a subscription to play Guild Wars, but
Mm-hmm.
you have to buy each expansion to get access to the stuff that's in that expansion,
Makes sense. Makes sense.
which makes absolute sense to me. The reason that World of Warcraft can't quite do that is because a lot of changes in the expansion of World of Warcraft also affect the entire world, instead of just the new zones or the new areas or the new mounts or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be more difficult for World of Warcraft to follow that, where you only, if you wanted access to the new stuff, you buy the expansion. But yeah, no, and anyone that charges you to buy the game and then also charges the subscription, I think is just crap.
Yeah, I can completely see that. Let's see here. Oh, other tech news. Here we go. So apparently, this will blow your mind, Jamin. It will blow your mind. Google Chrome is declaring war against ad blockers. Imagine that.
No way!
I
Really?
know, right? Google,
Why?
Google AdSense. I don't know why they'd want to block ads or stop the ad blockers. Just because that's their whole business model, but what
Yeah.
can you do?
They don't make a penny if it's not for the ads.
Exactly. And this is why you shouldn't use Google Chrome.
Yep. Yep.
If you want to block ads. If you want to block ads. Otherwise, I'm sure it's
Yes.
fine. I don't
Yes.
know, but it's
Yep.
I don't use Google Chrome, but
Neither do I.
I use Brave and then Safari sometimes if I
So do
need
I.
to.
I use Brave too. I like Brave. I don't like Brave's search engine though.
No, I don't use their search engine. I never use anybody's.
Yeah, their search engine gives you like 15 to 20 results and nothing more
Yeah, that's no good.
on
That is
anything
no good.
you search. No, it's really not, because, well, half of those aren't related to what you're searching.
Exactly.
So you get to choose from like five websites that they put up that might have something to do with what you're typing in.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I don't like is the AI responses. And it's cool that when you type in something into the search engine, like what is the population of Kansas or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
and without having to go to a website to see it, they'll AI generate. It'll do a quick search of the internet and say, well, based on our results, this is the estimated population of Kansas.
Okay.
What I would like it to do, though, is to actually